Assalamu alaikum friends. Michael H. Hart was an astrophysicist, historian and researcher from the United States. In 1972, he published a book, The 100, a ranking of the most influential persons in history. He ranked 100 people who completely changed the direction of the world in that book. Despite the fact that he was a Christian, he ranked Jesus third and Muhammad first. In that book, Michael H. Hart explained why he gave Muhammad first place. Let's see what he said about him. My choice of Muhammad to lead the list of the world's most influential persons may surprise some readers and may be questioned by others, but he was the only man in history who was supremely successful on both the religious and secular levels. Of humble origins, Muhammad founded and promulgated one of the world's greatest religions and became an immensely effective political leader. Today, 13 centuries after his death, his influence is still powerful and pervasive. The majority of the persons in this book had the advantage of being born and raised in centers of civilizations, highly cultured or politically pivotal nations. Muhammad, however, was born in the year 570 in the city of Mecca in southern Arabia, at that time a backward area of the world, far from the centers of trade, art, and learning. Orphaned at age 6, he was reared in modest surroundings. Islamic tradition tells us that he was illiterate. His economic position improved when, at age 25, he married a wealthy widow. Nevertheless, as he approached 40, there was little outward indication that he was a remarkable person. Most Arabs at that time was pagans and believed in many gods. There were, however, in Mecca a small number of Jews and Christians. It was from them, most probably, that Muhammad first learned of a single omnipotent God who ruled the entire universe. So, this is the perspective of Michael H. Hart. It's not mine. Okay? So, please don't think I'm saying that Prophet Muhammad learned the monotheism from Jews or Christians. Okay? So, let's continue. When he was 40 years old, Muhammad became convinced that this one true God, Allah, was speaking to him through the archangel Gabriel and had chosen him to spread the true faith. For 3 years, Muhammad preached only to close friends and associates. Then, about 613, he began preaching in public. As he slowly gained converts, the Meccan authorities came to consider him a dangerous nuisance. In 622, fearing for his safety, Muhammad fled to Medina, where he had been offered a position of considerable political power. This flight, called the Hijra, means Hijrah, was the turning point of the Prophet's life. In Mecca, he had few followers. In Medina, he had many more, and he soon acquired an influence that he made him virtually an absolute ruler. During the next few years, while Muhammad's following grew rapidly, a series of battles were fought between Medina and Mecca. These wars ended in 630 with Muhammad's triumphant return to Mecca as a conqueror. The remaining 2.5 years of his life witnessed the rapid conversions of the Arab tribes to the new religion. When Muhammad died in 632, he was the effective ruler of all southern Arabia. Michael H. Hart continues to speak about him, and he compares Muhammad with Jesus. Like all religions, Islam exerts an enormous influence upon the lives of its followers. It is for this reason that the founders of the world's great religions all figure prominently in this book. Since there were roughly twice as many as Christians as Muslims in the world, it may initially seem strange that Muhammad has been ranked higher than Jesus. There are two principal reasons for that decision. First, Muhammad played a far more important role in the development of Islam than Jesus did in the development of Christianity. Although Jesus was responsible for the main ethical and moral precepts of Christianity, insofar as these differed from Judaism, it was St. Paul who was the main developer of Christian theology, its principal proselytizer, and the author of large portion of the New Testament. Muhammad, however, was responsible for both the theology of Islam and its main ethical and moral principles. In addition, he played the key role in proselytizing the new faith and in establishing the religious practice of Islam. However, he is the author of the Muslim holy scriptures, the Quran. He is saying that Prophet Muhammad wrote the Quran, but according to us, means Muslims, Prophet Muhammad did not write the Quran. Quran was revealed on him from the God. Okay. So it is the Michael H. Hart's perspective that Muhammad wrote the Quran. So let's continue. Most of these utterances were copied more or less faithfully during Muhammad's lifetime and were collected together in authoritative form not long after his death. The Quran, therefore, closely represents Muhammad's ideas and teachings, and to a considerable extent, his exact words. No such detailed compilation of the teachings of Christ has survived, since the Quran is at least as important to Muslims as the Bible is to Christians. The influence of Muhammad through the medium of the Quran has been enormous. It is probable that the relative influence of Muhammad on Islam has been larger than the combined influence of Jesus Christ and St. Paul on Christianity. On the purely religious level, then it seems likely that Muhammad has been as influential in human history as Jesus. Furthermore, Muhammad, unlike Jesus, was a secular as well as a religious leader. In fact, as the driving force behind the Arab conquest, he may well rank as the most influential political leader of all time. Of many important historical events, one might say that they were inevitable and would have occurred even without the particular political leader who guided them. For example, the South American colonies would probably have won their independence from Spain even if Simon Bolivar had never lived. But this cannot be said of the Arab conquest. Nothing similar had occurred before Muhammad, and there is no reason to believe that the conquest would have been achieved without him. The only comparable conquests in human history are those of the Mongols in the 13th century, which were primarily due to the influence of the Genghis Khan. These conquests, however, though more extensive than those of the Arabs, did not prove permanent, and today the only areas occupied by the Mongols are those that they held prior to the time of the Genghis Khan. It is far different from the conquest of the Arabs. From Iraq to Morocco, there extends a whole chain of Arab nations, united not merely by their faith in Islam, but also by their Arabic language, history, and culture. The centrality of the Quran in the Muslim religion and the fact that it is written in Arabic have probably prevented the Arab language from breaking up into mutually unintelligible dialects, which might otherwise have occurred in the intervening 13th centuries. Differences and divisions between these Arab states exist, of course, and they are considerable, but the partial disunity should not blind us to the important elements of unity that have continued to exist. We see then that Arab conquest of the 7th century have continued to play an important role in human history down to the present day. It is unparalleled combination of secular and religious influence which I feel entitles Muhammad to be considered the most influential single figure in human history. So now we understand why he ranked Muhammad first in his book. So if you like this video, please don't forget to share this video, okay? Share this video to your friends and family members as much as you can. Thank you and have a very good day. Assalamu alaikum.